The first anime video we've made on this channel was the 10 Japanese voices in anime that you'd recognize anywhere. The very first comment that I got on that video was make this video but for English voices. So here we are. Now, I normally watch anime in Japanese, so I thought this video wouldn't be super easy for me to do, but turns out a lot of these people also work in video games, and I know about video games, so I'd recognize these guys anywhere. Nevertheless, to make sure I don't miss any obvious voice actors, I've cross-referenced imdb.com, animenewsnetwork.com, and myanimelist.net and came up with the top 10 English anime voice actors you'd probably recognize anywhere. And number 10, let's start with the voice you know as Sasuke Uchiha from Naruto.
I told you to wait!
This is Yuri Lowenthal. His sheer presence as one of the main characters in Naruto engraved his voice into our memories, so hearing him appear on other anime like Bleach or Durarara made him easy to recognize. In the realm of video games, you might know him as the Prince of Persia, those good old games, The Sands of Time and the Two Thrones. You might know him as the worst character in Persona 5. Yeah, Yosuke, I'm talking about you homophobic prick, seriously. Garbage. And he was also the latest Spider-Man in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Speaking of, he's still the voice of Spider-Man for the upcoming PlayStation 4 Spider-Man game. And number 9, we've got the best alchemist in the entire world, Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist.
You know what? You should cancel that. Why don't you stick around and relax?
Voiced by Vic Mignogna. Sorry if I mispronounced that name. Vic has shown up in a lot of supporting roles in Naruto, and we've recognized him here and there. He was also Ikkaku in Bleach, and he plays Broly every once in a while in Dragon Ball. Pretty easy to recognize his voice, at least while he still speaks. Sometimes Broly just descends into mindless screaming. And number 8, we have the protagonist from Bleach, Kurosaki Ichigo.
Nah. Don't sweat it, you're not as heavy as you look.
His name is Johnny Young Botch, and just like one of our previous entries, the fact that he's on screen for such a long-running series is enough to remember his voice for the rest of our lives. But maybe you don't actually know him from Bleach. Maybe you've met him a lot earlier as Nobita from Doraemon. Johnny kept showing up on our favorite anime series as Sasori from Naruto, for instance, but also in some older anime. Some of you old schoolers out there might recognize him as the protagonist of Trigun, Vash the Stampede, as well as the protagonist of Wolf's Rain, Kiba. In the world of video games, he was also in Persona 4 as the protagonist nonetheless, and he was also Nero, the main character of Devil May Cry 4. And if you think Johnny has played a lot of popular protagonists, wait until you hear about our number 7, Bryce Papenbrook.
Wait, you mean the training in general?
He's Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan. He's also Kirito from Sword Art Online, Meliodas in the 7 Deadly Sins, and a lot more. Bryce does seem to favor the spotlight, particularly when it comes to teenagers who can sure scream a lot. Curiously, he hasn't been in a lot of popular video games, you know, outside of playing those characters in Attack on Titan and Sword Art Online games, but he's had his fair share of roles. He's Guanping in the Dynasty Warriors series, and he's also in Danganronpa, as the protagonist, of course. Next up at number 6, we've got someone who constantly nails some important roles in popular anime. She is Asuna from Sword Art Online, as well as Lucy from Fairy Tail.
This is so cool, you can already see the lake from here.
Her name is Cherami Lee. She's been in some oldies but goodies like Sailor Moon, but has kept making stuff up to this day. She's currently Sarada Uchiha in Boruto and has recently voiced Tai in the movie Blame. As far as video games go, her most popular roles are probably Gage in Borderlands 2, Alexa in Xenoblade Chronicles, and most recently A2 in Nier Automata. And what a memorable performance that last one was. At number 5, we're switching gears a little bit. This guy is known for his work as Pain and Yamato in Naruto, Genosuke in Basilisk, and Excalibur in Soul Eater.
You mean you're glad I came along?
But he's definitely most famous for his work in video games. His name is Troy Baker, and he's the hottest video game voice actor right now. Just in the last 5 years, he played Joel from The Last of Us. He played Pagan Min from Far Cry 4. He played Revolver Ocelot in Metal Gear Solid 5. He played Sam Drake in Uncharted 4. He played Talion in Shadow of Mordor, and many, many, many more. He is everywhere. It's almost impossible for him to go unnoticed. Unless he's voicing the Joker in Arkham Origins, cause goddamn, I've never heard anyone so close to Mark Hamill's Joker. And number 4, the man who's going to become the Pirate King, Luffy from One Piece.
Hold on, how do you and Shanks know each other?
He's voiced by the lovely Colleen Clinkenbeard, who has nailed some decent roles in the past too. She plays Erza Scarlet in Fairy Tail and played Kid Gohan before he grew up. Still plays him from time to time whenever there's a video game with Kid Gohan in it. But in addition to Gohan, she also plays Android 18 and more recently, Mai. And as far as Dragon Ball goes, we're actually not done. She plays a lot of supporting characters. But perhaps it's best we move on to something else. She's also got a decent role in My Hero Academia as Momo, and another one in Full Metal Alchemist as Riza Hawkeye. Unfortunately, her Attack on Titan role wasn't so great. She played Eren's mother and didn't even last an episode. And number 3, we all grew up listening to him. It's Goku from Dragon Ball.
Gohan, you're my son and all, but man, that outfit is really weird.
Played by Sean Schemmel, he also voices King Kai and Nail. Additionally, he plays Achan along other support characters in One Piece, Gaston in Berserk, and I had completely forgotten about Shaman King, but he played Amidamaru there. As far as video games go though, he mostly just plays Goku. Well, I say he just plays Goku, but there are 1,000 Dragon Ball games, he's doing alright, don't worry. But what's more memorable than the Dragon Ball protagonist? Our number 2 is the narrator, the voice you hear at the begin and at the end of every single Dragon Ball episode.
Far away, in an enchanted land that seemed untouched by the steady march of time.
Kyle Helbert not only plays the narrator, but a ton of other Dragon Ball characters. He's got like half the roster under his belt, the most popular one being the adult version of Gohan. He was also in Naruto as Kiba and a ton of other supporting characters. His voice also made a fine villain in Bleach as he played Aizen. He's had so many supporting roles in One Piece and One Punch Man and Sword Art Online that we can't even name all of them. It's sad that such a memorable voice never played a big protagonist. Or did it? In the video game side of things, he's actually the voice of Ryu from Street Fighter, so take that anime, Kyle's got the spotlight on the video game side of things. And at the number 1, this guy is everywhere, but you probably know him as Vegeta from Dragon Ball.
We've tried to warn you, and yet here you are. I guess you always will be a naive idiot.
Vegeta has had several voices over the time, but the one that stuck was Christopher Sabat. Remember when I told you that Kyle played half the characters in Dragon Ball? Sabat plays the other half, with characters like Piccolo, Yamcha, and even the giant dragon Shenlong. In other anime, he's played Zoro in One Piece, All Might in My Hero Academia, Bato in Ghost in the Shell, and Louis Armstrong in Full Metal Alchemist. As far as video games go, besides the countless Dragon Ball games of course, he was the tutorial guy in Halo Wars, can you believe it? He was also Sledge in Borderlands, and he plays a bunch of different gods in the MOBA Smite. And with that, your request is complete. 10 English voice actors that you recognize anywhere. Let me know if I missed your favorite voice actor. Let me know who he is in the comments below. I'd love to know your opinions about that. If you'd like to watch the Japanese version of this video, click right there. If you're in the mood for something else, click right there. Like the video if you enjoy anime as much as I do, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. As always, thank you very much for watching. My name's Globku, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!